Hey everybody, this is what I call the control sequences. The idea is that so far in our studies, we have we've looked at how to control the stick, how to create the American Pulse through three different mechanisms. The wrist, which is our favorite throw-up exercise, the arm, which is the molar exercise, and we've also learned how to control the stick through the fingers using the finger push-pull, right? So the idea now is we're going to create a sequence that involves arm, wrist, and fingers. And the idea is we can either do this as sort of 8th note or 16th note type of an exercise where we're combining groups of 2 or 4 notes, or we can do this as a triplet-based exercise where we're using groups of 3 notes. So I'm going to do each of those for you. And so here's the basic exercise. We're not going to go too fast, maybe about here, maybe a little faster, but something like this. Here's my throw-up exercise, and then I'm going to go right into, for example, the 2 molar exercise. Now what you notice is, even though now I went from the wrist, here's the wrist, to the arm, to control the wrist is still involved a little bit, to the arm, the stick is doing the same thing. It sounds the same, it's coming to the same place each time. Now I switch to the finger push-pull, and notice the stick is coming to the same height each time. So the idea is that, say that I had a wall in front of me. Let's just say our good friend Ten Reed is a wall, and I was to do this so that all you could see was the stick tip coming up. You wouldn't know which of these mechanisms I was using, whether it was fingers, wrist, or arm. All you would see is that stick tip just going ba, ba, ba. You wouldn't know whether I was going up or down. You wouldn't know whether I was pushing or pulling, or whether I was just simply throwing the stick, right? So that's the idea. Consistency of sound, consistency of motion. Stick comes at the same place every single time. And of course, I just did those as 8th notes, but we could do them using the 3 molar as triplets as well. So for example, now I'm going 1, 2, 3, 2, 2, 3, 3, 2, 3, 4, 2. Here's the 3 molar, 3 molar, 3, that's the arm, and the push-pull, pull, push, pull. So we've already done this playing the push-pull as triplets. Again, we want to just outline the groups of 3. We don't want to have it be like, right? And on the push-pull, we don't want it to be 1, 2, 3, 2, 2, 3, 3, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, now, one other extremely important point I want to make as we do this, and that is as follows. In all 3, choking to death, in all 3 versions of this exercise, my wrist is still moving. That is part of what's going to allow that stick to come to the same level. So, if I'm doing throw up, of course, that is the wrist exercise. And notice the wrist is moving. If I'm doing 2 molar, now I'm moving from here, but notice the wrist is still being a part of what's going on. Not very much, but what's not happening is this. Do you see the difference? Here I'm doing 2 molar, but the wrist is frozen. So the wrist gotta keep moving to allow that stick to come back in the same place. Push, pull, you can still see that the wrist is moving. It's responding to what's going on. Okay, so that's the last important point about these control sequences. Controlling the stick, creating the American Pulse using 3 different mechanisms, and getting all the sounds and motions to be identical. Dig it.